A very key spec of the Redmi K30 Pro up in the air until now has just been confirmed by a Redmi executive, and it is definitely an interesting move. It makes that phone a really interesting prospect. So even though the K20 and K20 Pro last year came at an incredible price, we are in for a price rise this year. It's inevitable. Lu Wei, being the boss at Redmi himself, has said that there is no way they can keep the price as low as it was last year because the internal components have become more expensive, especially that Qualcomm processor. Qualcomm are charging an absolute fortune for the Snapdragon 865 this year, and it is one of the most expensive components of a phone anyway, so a price rise will come. A very good piece of information we got is that the K30 Pro and the K30 Pro Zoom Edition will be having almost exactly the same specs. The internal and external components of both of those phones will be almost exactly the same, except for, as the name suggests, the Zoom Edition getting that extra zoom capability. The leak also tells us that the screens between those two devices will be the same also, and here's where it gets really interesting. There had been a lot of debate in China around what exactly Redmi would do in terms of the screen. We know with the Redmi K30 they switched to an LCD display because of the higher 120Hz refresh rate. In the K30 Pro, as it is a more flagship device, a lot of people want to keep with an AMOLED screen, but there's no way they can use an AMOLED screen with a 120Hz refresh rate. The Mi 10 series doesn't even use that, and it would make the phone way too expensive. There were very heavy rumors in China that Redmi would keep the AMOLED display in the K30 Pro, but also keep the 60Hz refresh rate. And considering the price hike of all the other internal components, it would make sense. But we are moving towards high refresh rates as a norm, which would leave the Redmi K30 Pro at a 60Hz display sort of behind the times. Well, it looks like we got some very good news anyway. An executive at the company asked directly, hey, is the Redmi K30 Pro going to have a high refresh rate? If it is, just reply to me with the Chinese character Zhao, which means good morning. And he duly replied Zhao. So we can now confirm, thanks to this executive at the company, that the Redmi K30 Pro will have a 90Hz refresh rate. Certainly not 120Hz, the Mi 10 doesn't even have that, but a 90Hz refresh rate with an AMOLED screen on the K30 Pro. Xiaomi will be releasing a new phone in the second half of the year that could be branded the Xiaomi Mi 10S. Very little is known about the phone apart from a leak of the name and the development of it, and it could be a bigger phone, maybe a Max phone. A lot of people would be very interested in that, but details are very scarce about that right now. Only to say that Xiaomi recently also showed off their 40-watt fast wireless charging solution that apparently, according to leaks, is going to come in an actual product that we can buy this year too. It could be that the Mi 10S, if it's called that, could use this. It might be going into another product. Again, these details are unclear, but Xiaomi are definitely working on those two things. Xiaomi are also testing the possibility of a dual main sensor camera phone. So that would mean the main wide angle camera and the secondary ultra wide camera would both be using a very high quality flagship grade camera sensor. This is actually being used in more and more smartphones. Huawei did it in the Mate 30 Pro. They'll be doing it in the P40 Pro. Oppo just did it in the Find X2 Pro. There are a lot of advantages to this. You can have one that focuses on photography, the other on videography, and just get way more quality out of the camera in general. Redmi have also demonstrated their under-screen fingerprint sensor technology in an IPS LCD display. Until now, it's been very difficult to put a fingerprint sensor on an IPS LCD display, usually reserved for AMOLED displays because the technology is so different. Huawei actually showed off this technology in some devices last year. This technology also comes from BOE, the screen manufacturer, but it's the first time we've seen Redmi show off this in a prototype Redmi Note 8 Pro unit. Even though this tech has been shown off by Redmi, it's unlikely that it will make its way into the Redmi Note 9 series, as that is so close to being launched already. But it's definitely a cool progression for the technology, just gives a different option in those types of phones and gives a new feature while keeping the cost down. Subscribe for all the latest tech news and videos. That's it for now, but I'll see you in the next one.